All right, so there's a lot of news today. But this is probably the highlight of the day. Justice Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files. That's pretty insane. So obviously, as you guys know, I'm going to be taking a look at this to see what's going on, and I'm going to check other outlets to see what they're saying, because unfortunately, when you try to watch when you try to read the original source, which is the Wall Street Journal, you need a subscription, which I don't have, and they're the ones who broke the story. So this is Reuters. Same title. Trump was told he was in Epstein files, Wall Street Journal reports. Yeah, because they're the ones who broke the story. So this is just a summary of what to expect. The Wall Street Journal reports Trump's name is one of many appearing in Epstein materials, which that's crazy. There's a lot more names. This isn't exactly the Epstein, the client list that people are expecting. This is just more or less people who are most likely associated with Epstein. So that's what I assume it is. But I mean, if you guys understand it as like, a client list, then perhaps you guys can call it that. I'm not going to call it a client's list just yet. Because again, we don't know what these names mean. Obviously President Trump, his name is in these files, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he was a client of Epstein. So, and then there's other bullet points as well. White House calls report fake news as usual. Judge rejects request to release materials related to Florida Epstein investigation. The other point, Trump administration sought release of transcripts on probe, and Trump's political base has demanded more information on Epstein case. So obviously, Trump's base is still pressing about the Epstein issue. It's not going away anytime soon. It's already been like 2-3 weeks already. It's about to hit a month soon, and people are still talking about this. So no matter what President Trump does, it just seems that it's always coming to him. It's coming right around. And of course, as you guys know, Republicans just went on vacation because they don't want to vote anything relating to the Epstein case. So they don't want to have to deal with it until September. I'm sure that by then it's going to either die down, or it's going to pick up sometime in the future where they're going to press the president again for these files. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi told President Donald Trump in May that his name appeared in investigative files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The Wall Street Journal reported on Wednesday. The White House sent mixed signals following the story. It released an initial statement characterizing it as fake news. But a White House official later told Reuters the administration was not denying that Trump's name appears in some files, noting that Trump was already included in a tranche of materials Bondi assembled in February for consecutive influencers. So even his own administration is recognizing that his name are in these files. Trump, who was friendly with Epstein in the 1990s and early 2000s, appears multiple times on the flight logs for Epstein's private plane. In the 1990s, Trump and several members of his family also appeared in the Epstein contact book alongside hundreds of others. Yeah, so this is kind of what I expected, that, he's probably most likely going to show up in a contact book or some documents, perhaps real estate and stuff like that. So I believe that's what they're referring to when they say that his name is in these files. Trump has faced intense backlash from his own supporters after his administration said it would not release the files, reversing the campaign promise. Now, I don't know if Trump ever said that he did actually. Never mind. He did. I remember he did an interview with some woman, and then the woman asked if he was going to release the Epstein files.
People that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. They do that for danger, too, because, endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
Okay, so this is another moment where he said that he would be inclined to, taking care of that issue. So, of course, this is the original clip, the one that I was talking about. So take a listen.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died. It'd be interesting to find out what happened there, because that was a weird situation and the cameras didn't happen to be working, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I'd go a long way toward that one. The other stuff I would definitely do the January 6th.
I'm more interested in what he said about the Epstein files. Give me 1 second.
I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, do what you will with that information. There's also this video that's currently going viral. I'm recording this after I've already recorded the video, but I thought that this was pretty interesting as well. Check it out.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
That's from Epstein himself. So again, we don't know what this means, but it's definitely a clue, man. It's definitely a clue. And by the way, because I already know someone's going to go into my comment section and say, he's obviously, you know, a PDF file. Why don't you just call a spade a spade? Listen, man, if you want somebody to tell you that, I have no problem recommending you to someone who will do that for you. I'll go ahead and leave this video down below. It's from Kyle Kalinske. He'll tell you exactly what is it that you want to hear. I want to go slow and I want to take my time. I don't want to label anybody because I think that these labels are just thrown without any care. And I think that really people don't understand the power that these labels hold, or at least they used to hold power. Now because everybody just throws them around, nobody really takes them serious. I like to use my words. I like people to know that my words hold weight. I don't want to just carelessly label somebody. So I want to take my time. So if you want somebody to reinforce your biases or or to confirm what you already believe, here you go. Kyle Kalinske would do exactly what you want him to do, which is tell you what you want to hear. So I'll leave that down in the description below if you guys want to hear that. But to the people who want to take their time, who don't want to call me weird for taking my time or taking it slow, let's proceed. And then these are some of the photos that were uncovered. I don't know from what outlet. I believe it was CNN. Let's take a look.
Donald Trump's wedding to Marla Maples in 1993 was a grand affair at the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan. The guest list was a who's who of the rich and famous, and among them was none other than Jeffrey Epstein. There he is in a newly unearthed photo, entering the reception hall.
We know that Trump and Epstein were friends during this period. This is really the first time that it's actually been reported that Trump invited Epstein to his wedding.
The photos were uncovered by CNN. They also discovered this new image from that same year. It's Trump with Epstein at the opening of a restaurant. Trump's children, Eric and Ivanka, are also there. And here's Trump chatting with Epstein at a Victoria's Secret fashion show in 1999.
It's a lot of Epstein and Donald Trump material. You know, this doesn't look good at all, man. But again, the fact that he's not releasing the files, it just makes him look more suspicious. Now, this isn't a secret. I believe this isn't a secret. I think everybody by now knows that President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were friends. The only issue that remains is, you know, what exactly did you guys do together, you know?
For example, the New York Times publishing a piece over the weekend detailing the evolution of their friendship, which apparently started around 1990 when Epstein bought a property near Mar-a-Lago. And then in 1992, NBC captured Trump and Epstein at a party in Mar-a-Lago with cheerleaders, with Trump at one point dancing among a crowd of young women, with them then later appearing to whisper something in Epstein's ear while pointing at other women, causing him to double over with laughter. Months later, when Trump hosted another party there for young women on a so-called calendar girl competition, the organizer recalls having been surprised to discover that Epstein was the only other guest.
And then apparently there was a wedding photo of President Trump with Epstein. And then, of course, CNN, they ended up making a phone call to President Trump. And just listen to this. It's hilarious how they describe it.
Yeah, we were not on the phone very long. I think our call was about 30 seconds or so. But when I asked him about the wedding photo, he said, he sort of paused for a second and then said, "You've got to be kidding me," before calling CNN fake news and then hanging up on me.
With White House communication.
That's pretty crazy. And then also there's this guy who also made a quote.
director later adding, "These are nothing more than out-of-context frame grabs of innocuous videos and pictures of widely attended events to disgustingly infer something nefarious."
Now, obviously, as we know, or at least, you know, a lot of us have like some idea that when it comes to the internet, yeah, they tend to take pictures, videos out of context. This isn't new. But the only problem with this statement is that this doesn't really qualify as much anymore. And then this statement also starts to lose a lot of value when, you know, you have President Trump, you know, making statements like, you know, are we still talking about the Epstein case? Like, why are we still talking about it? You know, obviously all of that stuff doesn't sit well with the folks, the viewers. And then, of course, now that there's more photos that are being unearthed, again, like, this is just driving home the idea that, you know what, there's probably most likely some cover up going on here. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and end it there, man. That's really all I got for you guys.